Well, hi everyone. How are you guys doing? I'm Denise with Artist at Heart Paint Party. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Well, I have to tell you, I ran to the library to get some books on swans. They're not that common. So I have a few today, especially since Reagan said she wanted me to read and she likes me to read. So you guys have to give me your input too. I have here Swan Lake, The Ugly Duckling, which is close to a swan book as I could find, and then the other Ugly Duckling. I have three books here. A lot of chapter books on swans, but not many picture books. So The Ugly Duckling is a famous Hans Christian Andersen book. And you guys are going to let me know if you want me to read that one or Swan Lake. So let's get started. I'm going to draw with marker. I want you guys to draw with pencil just so you can erase it. I'm only drawing with marker so you can see it better on the camera. My format is horizontal or in landscape version so you can see it and fit two swans. So I like the two swans. And hi Lola, I hope you had a great birthday. And so I like that their neck creates the heart in the center. So if you want to do two swans, center it so that just imagine the heart in the center. Actually, why don't we just start with a heart and then we'll create the swans. It might be the easiest way. So think about the center of your page, your paper. This is my sloppy copy. So I'm doing a practice version. Okay. So there's my heart right in the middle, right? And now I'm going to do the swan here. Goes head and neck, right? And now I'm going to do the body here. Here's their feathers and the tail. Feathers and the tail. I'm going to do a horizontal line here. That's going to be my water line. And I could put some feather lines in here. Then the beak is right around here. That would be the orange part. And then that black line on the swan. And the rest is just beautiful colors. So not only did I go to the library today, I ran to Hobby Lobby. Now I wanted to show you guys these. I haven't used them yet, but I opened just one. So I just got back. The colors, they're actually called acrylic paint Easter crafts. Look at them. They're all almost pastel looking and they're acrylics. Look at the colors on that side, right? So they're about, well, they're 1.69 fluid ounces of acrylic paints, but they're really, really pretty. So you guys are going to experiment with me today and we're going to see how the colors actually come out. I'm thinking they might be a little bit transparent, but we're going to try. You know, I love acrylics because they're so opaque, which means you can't see through them. But again, let's just try. They just got them in for Easter and they only had 4. I bought all 4 of them. So I'll let you know if they're good. All right, so let's keep going. So that was my sloppy copy. Now I'm going to go to my good one. Again, I'm using a canvas and my canvas is in landscape or horizontal so I could fit both of my swans. I'm going to start in the center with a heart. And after I do that, I'm going to do the head and the neck, the head and the neck. And then I can come around and do the body with the feathers here. And there's a cute little tail here. Feathers here, cute little tail here. And then a horizontal line where the water's going to be. Here's the beak is right around there. And then the black line comes up like that, up like that. And if you want, you can add the feathers now or you could do them later. So the wing is right around here, right? Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be exact. Comes all the way over like that. That's pretty easy, right? That's a pretty easy drawing. All right, so let's see. Hey, Amelia. All right, I want you guys to tell me, do you want me to read today The Ugly Duckling? Ooh, look at that reflection. The Ugly Duckling by Hans Christian Andersen. This is a simpler one. I thought the artwork there was cool. So you can see it kind of reminded me of Eric Carle. And then I have Swan Lake, which is a little bit longer. So, or you could say no book at all. You guys, if you're watching live, you get to pick. If you're not watching live, well, you got to try to watch live one day so you can chat with us. So all my live kids, if you have a preference on what book you want me to do, let me know now, because otherwise I'm just going to grab one. Duckling. All right, Amelia says Duckling. Do you have a preference on which one? I do love The Ugly Duckling. So The Ugly Duckling, the original, was created by Hans Christian Andersen, and then they're retold by these authors and artists. So, all right, Aurora also wants The Ugly Duckling. So we're going to go with The Ugly Duckling. You want to go with, so this is more realistic, right? The artwork in here is more realistic. And this one, oh, Lola says Swan Lake. And then this one is a little bit more like Eric Carle. I got one Swan Lake and two Ugly Ducklings. Maybe we could do another one of Swan Lake another day. Let's see. Well, let me just, so while you guys are sketching it out, Swan Lake definitely goes more with the swans, but they did not have a lot of swan books. So let's see how quick I can read this, and then maybe we could do both. The Ugly Duckling, adapted by Jerry Pinkney. Okay. Again, originally by Hans Christian Andersen. It was summer and the pond was alive with music and color of life. Dragonflies danced to and fro and frogs splashed in and out of water's edge. Below the surface, fish swam together in harmony while birds swooped through the air above. And all around a gentle breeze rustled the tall grasses that grew nearby. There, secluded among the grasses, a duck was sitting on 6 eggs. 5 of the eggs were small, but the 6th was oddly shaped and much larger than the others. The duck was puzzled about that egg and how it came to be so different from the rest. But she did not worry herself about it much. She just took care that the big egg was as warm as the rest. Hi, you guys. I see everybody. Everybody's excited to paint. So I'm just, if you just popped in, I'm just reading The Ugly Duckling. And again, I'm going to go back to my painting. This was the very first set of eggs that the duck had ever laid, and she was very pleased and proud. One day when she saw tiny cracks on 2 of them, she drew the eggs closer to one another and didn't move for the rest of that day. She sat steadily on the nest for a whole night. Before the sun rose, the 5 little eggs were empty, and 5 pairs of eyes were gazing out upon the green world. "I suppose you are all here now," said the mother as she stood up. "No, I've not got to you all yet. The biggest egg is still there. How long is it going to take?" She settled herself on the nest again. The day wore on, and the big egg showed no signs of cracking. But all through the day and the next, she sat, giving up even her morning bath for fear that a blast of cold might strike the big egg. In the evening, she thought she saw a tiny crack in the shell, and she was so excited that she could hardly sleep all night. With the first streaks of light, she felt something stirring under her. Soon a big, awkward bird tumbled out of the egg head first. "Chip, chip!" cried the little one. The mother looked with surprise at his long neck and dull color. "That is a monstrous big duckling," she said to herself. "None of the others look like that. Can it be a turkey chick? Well, we shall soon find out," she thought, as he and the 5 furry little balls followed her to the water. All right, let's take a quick break so we can start painting. Now, you guys know I like to paint from light to dark. If you're not painting and you're coloring, you're going to color around your swan. I'm going to go right through my swans just to make it easier. So I'm going to paint right through like this all the way up. I'm going to start here on this line and work my way up. And then I'm going to let it dry. And then I'm going to paint over my swans with white. Now, again, if you do not have paint, use crayons, color pencils, whatever you're using. And I like to work from light to dark. If you guys just got here, I just ran to Hobby Lobby and I bought this cute set. I shouldn't call it cute, but they're really pretty paints. And I want to see how they work. So we're going to experiment together. So these are acrylics and they're an Easter set that they just got of pastel colors. So I am going to experiment and see how they go on. And I should have opened them first. Because I don't have any fingernails, I can't get the lid off. So let's experiment here. So you guys know I like to paint from light to dark. So I'm going to start with this yellow. All right, and now that I have paint all over me, that would be the normal thing, right? So I'm just going to dip it in the acrylic paint and I'm going to start with some horizontal brush strokes. Oh, it's pretty. It's a little bit thinner than what I'm used to working with, but I like it. So again, I like to just kind of add some horizontal brush strokes. I'm not going to put it all over. And I'm not worried because I'm painting. I'm really not worried about the getting it inside my white because my white acrylic paint will cover it. If you're using tempera, paint around your swans. And again, if you're using crayons or anything else, paint around your swans. I'm experimenting here. And again, you could add less yellow if you like pink and you want to add way more pink. Okay, so here's my pretty pink. I thought these were, or you can see how dirty my hands are. So look at how pretty this is. It comes, it's 1.69, so it's almost 2 ounces. And it has a seal on it that I can't get off. So I'm going to use my scissors here. I don't have very long fingernails, so okay, let's try this pink too. I was a little bit worried about it being not opaque, but it's pretty opaque means you can't see through it. It's a little bit more transparent than what my other paint is, and my other paint is a little bit thicker as well. It's also not quite as bright. Again, it's like soft pastel colors. But I wanted to experiment. So this could be I don't often paint in pastel, but I thought if I ever did, this would be a good one to do. And you guys could tell me if you like it brighter or if you like it softer. So I'm using horizontal brush strokes. Again, I'm not really worried about it inside my swan. Let's go up a little, put a little more pink in there. And so you know the thicker you apply it, the more opaque it'll be, but I could always add a second coat to make it more opaque as well. And let's try the pretty orange. And it says it's made for kids, so it's washable. And again, I thought, you know, I'm making a mess. I know you guys are used to that. Ooh, all right, that's not what you do. I'm going to scoop that off my swan. This is why I usually have everything ready when I come on the air, you guys. Mistake, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to paint right over that. I'm not even going to worry about it. So I'm just going to smudge it off of there. I don't want to waste the paint, so I'm scooping it up. I'm already a mess. I'm just going to move it over here. So really, what makes this painting so beautiful are the colors that you're using in your background, right? So that's why you want to use your favorite colors. You know, if you love really bright pink, then use more of that. I'm trying to get this one to be a little bit more pastel, right? Get that blob off of there. But I really do like the pinks and the purples, but I still want to keep, let's see what this purple's all about. I think this purple's really pretty. I just don't know how it's going to come out on the canvas. So let's give it a try. Let's see what it's all about. Oh, that looks pretty. I like that purple. Now I don't really want to mix my yellow and purple together because I'm going to get brown. So I'm going to avoid that yellow for right now. I mean, I'm pretty close to it. You can see where I went over a little bit and it turned kind of brown. So if you're doing purple too, avoid the yellow. Try not to bump into your yellow. If you're doing blue, try to avoid the yellow because then you'll end up with green in your sky, which you can have green in your sky, but I'm going to try not to get green. Green in the sky makes me think of storms. All right, let's open the blue and see what we have going on. And I don't want my background to look like a flag, so I want to blend them together a little bit. That's why I want to avoid too much overlapping. See, I'm going to get the blue. You can see I got a little bit of green there. So the blue and yellow are going to make green, but the blue and purple look pretty together. So you like it brighter or you like it softer? I could even make it more pastel by putting white in there. I didn't add any white into this because these paints are already pretty light. But these I added white in just to soften them up a little bit. In here, I'm going to put more pink. Actually, you know what? I'll show you guys my other. So this is my other acrylic paint, right? Shake it up. I'm going to show you the difference. This is very soft and light. This one is way more opaque. It's a thicker paint. It's more expensive. Let's see. Look at the difference. That's just, I didn't add anything to it. I actually just dipped my brush in the bottle just to see. The difference, right? Super bright. It's a lot of pigment. That's the color in your paint. That's why it's more expensive. Okay, I like it bright too. Do you guys, I know I could hear you. Oh, it's so pretty bright. I do like bright colors. I love to see brush strokes. So all my brush strokes are going horizontal. I'm going to put some over here. So look, I'm just going to add some horizontal brush strokes up here. Again, be careful when you're overlapping the colors because you might end up, well, it could be fun. You could end up creating a color you didn't intend to. Like I didn't really want that turquoise green. So I'm going to go over it a little bit with some horizontal pink strokes. Let's put a little more purple in here. Now see my yellow dry. That's how fast the yellow dried. It still kind of looks, on the screen it looks brown, but it's actually more purple. And put some white in there. Again, if you want it to be softer, put some white in there. And you're doing those horizontal brush strokes until you like that background. So keep adding all those horizontal lines until you like it. I'm going to put a little bit of white on my brush just to see what happens. Okay, so let's add a little bit of white in here. Horizontal brush strokes. Now I don't want it to be too light in the background because my swans are white and you want to have contrast. Especially down where your swans are. So try not to make it too light. I'm going to put a little bit of this lighter pink, soften that up a little bit. I got so excited to add the bright pink, but it's so bright. I want to tone it down. Ooh, I'm messy today. Oh my goodness. And guess what? Oh boy, don't tell the library. My paintbrush just bounced on the book. Shh, we won't tell. Well, it added a little bit. Look at, I guess that means to get back to the book. Look at, I got paint on my book. Don't do that. And don't paint close to your library books. All right, you guys hear me laughing. But look, it's washable, it's wipeable while it's wet. So I got to get it quick, right? The worst that can happen is I buy the book. Ah, it's all off. No one knows. Don't tell them. Okay, so look, it's all clean. All right, let's see if I read this. All right, let's go back to our book while you guys are working on your background. So get your background, keep going. I just want you to work on the background, make it beautiful. Did you ever see anything quite as ugly as that great creature? One of the ducks in the yard taunted as the family walked by. He is a disgrace to anyone. Another agreed. I shall go and chase him out. And he ran to the big duckling and bit his neck. Leave him alone, the duckling's mother said fiercely. He's doing no harm. No, but he's so ugly that no one can put up with him, answered the stranger, and the poor duckling drooped his head. Oh, that's sad. He may not be quite as handsome as the others, his mother answered, comforting him, but he is tall and very strong. I'm sure he will make his way in the world as well as anybody else. But as time went by, matters grew worse. The poor duckling was chased by all of them, even his brothers and sisters. The ducks bit him, and the hens pecked him, and the girl who fed them kicked him aside. At last he could bear it no longer, and one night when the ducks and hens were asleep, he left. By dawn he had reached a grassy moor full of soft, marshy places. It was peaceful there, and the duckling wished that he might stay forever, away from everyone, until bang, bang! At the sound of the gun, whole flocks of wild geese flew up from the rushes. Sportsmen lay hidden around the marsh, and some even sat on the branches of the trees that overhung the water. For a few long minutes, the firing continued. Luckily, the duckling could not fly, and he floundered along through the waters till he could hide himself among some tall ferns. But hunting dogs were wandering around in the swamp. Splash, splash, and just at that moment, a frightful dog appeared beside him. His tongue hung right outside his mouth, and his eyes glared wickedly. The duckling grew cold with terror and tried to hide his head beneath his little wings. The dog opened his great chasm of a mouth close to the duckling's, showed his sharp teeth, and then splash, went on without touching him. I'm too ugly for even a dog to eat, the duckling thought. Well, that is a blessing, but I will never go near this pool again. Never. And so the duckling marched on bravely all day long until he reached a small cottage. The door had fallen off one hinge and hung so crookedly that he could creep into the house through the crack. He lay down there exhausted and spent the entire night in peace. Now in the cottage dwelt an old woman, her cat, and a hen, and the next morning the duckling awoke to the sight of all three looming over him. "What on earth is that?" said the old woman, whose sight was not good. "Can you lay eggs?" asked the hen. The trembling duck shook his head. "Can you ruffle your fur when you get angry, or purr when you are pleased?" asked the cat. But the duckling had to admit that he could do nothing but swim. "So it can neither lay eggs nor purr," said the hen. "What should we do with it?" cried the cat. "Oh, you're all talking nonsense," replied the old woman. "We will let it stay for a bit, for I'm sure we will see some eggs from the creature soon enough." All right, you want to take a break? Take a break from the book and keep going? Are you guys liking the book? All right, so this background looks really different. Hey, Claire. Hi, you guys. Emma, Bella, Amelia, Lola. All right. I'm going to leave my background like this. I think it looks kind of cool. This is, to me, reminds me of a storm over here. I don't want it to be too stormy. So let's do the water next. And I'm still going to stick with this light blue. Let's just see if it covers it. All right, so it's pretty opaque. If it's covering that big splash I made, then this is still the stuff that I got at Hobby Lobby. I wasn't sure if it would cover it. Again, my other stuff is pretty opaque, which means it will cover anything. I put a little bit of white on my brush. Horizontal brush strokes. I'm just going to put a little bit more blue in that sky. Just because I have it on my brush, right? There. All right, I don't know how many coats it's going to take to cover up the white over those mistakes I made, but let's experiment and find out. So I'm going to take some white paint and I'm going to paint over. Oh, pretty good. All right, so I'm going to paint over my swans. This would also be a good project if you wanted to paint the whole background and then cut out swans from cardboard or tagboard or even fabric, and then you could glue it on. So it could be like a multimedia project. You know that would be opaque. So again, you can use white tagboard and draw out your swans on that and then cut them out and glue them on. You can use any supplies you want. We know Amelia likes to use clay. Right? Never know when she's going to be using clay in her projects. But we love to see what you guys are creating. So luckily, my white acrylic paint covered up my mistake, which is great. But I had to be patient, right? I had to be patient and let it dry. It's a lot easier to cover it when it's dry. All right, I'm going to paint in this side. So it surprised me that there's not a lot of children's books about swans. There was a very popular chapter book called The Trumpet and the Swan. And the library had a lot of copies. I believe it's part of like an accelerated reader program. But I was not ready to read you guys a chapter book. Sorry. All right. So I painted in the white, and while the white's wet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do parts of it gray just to give it some value and some depth. So take a little bit of black and mix it with some white. You can add some gray lines into the neck. So here, so I'm going to follow that curve of the neck, right? And I'm going to put some gray, which is black and white. You don't need a lot of black. Do it on this side. Little bit of black, white, mix it together, get some gray, and your brush strokes follow that line. And you can do some over here as well to kind of add texture to your wing. So I could just make some texture with little gray brush strokes. And again, follow that curve, and you can have lights and darks of your gray. So some of it should be a little bit darker and lighter. You don't want to keep painting over and over and over it, or you'll lose the lines. So do it on this side too. And again, you could add a little texture by creating some little wispy lines, like this, little wispy lines. I don't want mine to be all one gray. I want it to be different lights and darks of the gray. You could even put some up here if you want to. Again, it just gives it a little bit of depth. It makes it a little bit more interesting. If you get too dark, you can always go back into it with more white. Add more white into your beautiful swan. You guys can name your swans. You could write a story about your swans too, right? Again, and you can go back into it and add some wispy little white lines in there. You could add some gray into your water. I'm just going to scoop up some more black. And like this would be the shadow of, you know, like the reflection on the water. You don't have to have the reflection unless you want to. So I'm going to make mine more diagonal. See the diagonal? And then horizontal. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So there's a diagonal going this way. Again, it gives it a little bit of depth so it doesn't look so two-dimensional. It makes it look a little bit more three-dimensional. See how that's too straight there? I want to make it more diagonal. So it's reflecting this. I like my lines to be a little bit softer because, again, especially when it's a reflection in the water. So I just kind of smudge it up a little bit. And, you know, you could put some of that pink in the water too because it's reflecting. So whatever's reflecting above could be reflecting on the water too. So I can put a little pink in here, or purple, or yellow. Whatever colors you want to reflect in the water. Now, did I even open my orange? I did open my orange. So let's do the orange in the beak. And yours could be yellow. Mine's going to be orange. And it might have to be outlined a little bit so it shows up better. Because I have the pink behind it, right? So the contrast is not as strong there. So the orange is blending into the pink, but a good outline. Or, you know what else I could do to change it? I can soften it up by lightening the color behind it. Now, you know, I just had to put that bright pink in there. But if I change it, maybe add some white to it and soften it up, it'll make the beak show up better. All right, let's go back to the book and then we'll finish up with some black. Because you guys know I wait till the end for black. You can tell, especially today, I was very messy. I was dropping stuff and That's why I don't use black till the end, because I end up getting it into other things. So I wait till the end. All right, so we're back, right? We're back with the ugly duckling. The duckling remained there for 3 weeks, but didn't lay a single egg. And before long, he grew restless, for he wanted more than anything to have a swim. "What's the matter?" asked the hen. "Oh, I'm so longing to float on the water again," said the duckling. "You can't imagine how delicious it is to feel it rushing over your head when you dive straight down to the bottom." "I don't think I would enjoy it," replied the hen doubtfully. And the cat agreed there was nothing she would hate so much. "Haven't you lived in this warm room and in our company long enough to have learned to do anything useful?" said the hen. "I suppose not," said the duckling. "I think I must go back into the wide world." The cat and the hen answered shortly, "Very well then, go." And they turned their backs on him before he could even say goodbye. So the duckling left his friends. He was sad, but he could not help feeling a thrill of joy when he was out in the air and swimming in the water once more. Now the autumn came. The leaves in the woods turned yellow and brown, and the wind took hold of them, and they danced about. The clouds hung heavy with snow and hail. Then the snow began to fall, and the duckling's bewilderment, the river started to turn hard and slippery. One day he heard the sound of whirling wings and up in the air and saw a flock of birds flying high. They were as bright as the snow that had fallen during the night, and their long necks were stretched southward. Oh, if only he could go with them. But what sort of companion could he be to those beautiful beings? Every morning it grew colder and colder, and the duckling had to swim about in the water to keep it from freezing. At last, during one bitter night, his legs moved so slowly that the ice crept closer and closer. When the morning light broke, he was caught fast. By good fortune, a man was crossing the river and saw that what had happened. He stamped the ice so hard that it broke, and then he picked up the duckling and tucked him under his sheepskin coat, where the little bird's frozen bones began to thaw. The man took the bird to his children, who gave him warm food to eat and put him in a box by the fire. They were kind children and wanted to play with him, but the poor duckling had never played in his life. He thought they wanted to tease him, and so he flew terrified at the noise and confusion right out the door. The rest of the winter was miserable, and the duckling had never had enough to eat. But finally the earth became softer and tender young plants poked through. When the duckling stood up one day, he raised his wings and stretched them in the warmth of the sun. He flapped them once and then again and again with the strength he had never felt before. Just in front of him, he saw a flock of the same beautiful birds he had seen in the sky so many months ago. One by one, he watched them into the spring with feathers rustling, and then float quietly upon the waters as if they were part of it. "I will follow them," thought the duckling. "I would rather be killed by them than suffer any more cold and hunger and cruelty." And stretching out his wings, he lifted himself into the air to fly down to the water. Oh, how glorious it felt to be rushing through the air, wheeling first one way and then the other. He had never thought flying could be like this. When he reached the water, some of the younger birds swam out to meet him with cries of welcome, which the duckling hardly understood. "I don't know why I was hatched. I'm the ugliest duckling ever to live," he said to them. He bowed his head and looked down into the water. Reflected in the still pool, he saw many graceful shapes with long necks and golden bills. Without thinking, he looked for his dull feathers and awkward skinny neck, but no such thing was there. Instead, he beheld beneath him a beautiful swan. "The new one is the best," said the children when they came down from the village nearby to feed the swans. "His feathers and his beak are the brightest of all." And when we heard that, the swan knew that it was worth having undergone all the suffering and loneliness that he had. Otherwise, he would never have known what it was to really be happy. The lilacs bent their bows down to the water before him, and the bright sun was warm and cheering. He rustled his feathers and raised his slender neck aloft, saying with pure joy in his heart, I never dreamed of such peace. And that's the story of the ugly duckling. Jerry Pickney is the illustrator who created this, and the original story was by Hans Christian Andersen. All right, so there you go. There's your story for today. Did you guys like the story? Well, you're going to have to let me know if you want me to keep reading to you in future classes. All right, I'm getting my black ready because you know I got to be neat. Now, if you guys want, you could always use a black marker for your little black part. So in here, it's going to be black. And then I'm going to do my other one over here. And if you want to really make the bottom part, again, right now it's pretty soft, but if you wanted to make it a little more dramatic, you could put like a black line underneath your swan just to make it, give it a little bit more depth. Now, you know, you don't want to make it too, sometimes when you outline with black, it looks cartoony. And sometimes I outline with black and then I paint over because I don't like it. So I'm going to put a black line here and see if I like it. I think that looks good. And again, if you want to like add a little bit more black into your shadow, put a little bit of black line down here. I could put, again, a little bit into my shadow. You guys can always outline it if you want. You know what? I'm going to outline. Remember I told you guys I lost my beak a little bit. So let's outline it here so you could see it. So my orange and my pink blended together so much that I lost my beak. So I outline it so it shows back up. And again, you guys can think about a name for your swans. You could write a story about your swans. You could do your own version of the ugly duckling. Let's see here. I'm going to give you guys the link to come on camera. Can you guys see that link? It's funny because sometimes I can get you guys to see it and sometimes not. So you're going to have to tell me if you can see the link. You guys got the link? Yes? Yeah. Yes, you like the link, or yes, you like the stories? Oops, I just stuck my finger in the paint again. Can you guys see the link? Let's see if I can get into the group with a... I always forget I have to be in there as Denyse Lipka. Oh, here, let's see. I'm trying to get you guys. You don't see the link. All right. Hey, give me a second. It's so fun. Where's my phone? When I do it, ugh. You guys, I'm making a mess today. Now I just spilled pink all over the place. All right, give me a second. I don't know why. Are you guys ever messier certain days than others? Because today's one of those messy days I'm having. Sometimes when I'm not being mindful, that means paying attention. If I have a lot on my mind, then I tend to make more mistakes. I'm thinking about other things. All right, let's see if I can do it. For some reason, I could do it easier on my phone than I can on the computer. Shocking, right? You guys know my technology. All right, let's see if I got it here. So my computer, do you see it now? Ah, do you see it? Can you guys see it? Why is it? You know, like, why can I post it on my phone and not on my computer? It doesn't make sense to me. Did it show up? Can you guys see that now? There's me on my phone. Look at that. Isn't that funny? So I can pull it up on my phone and copy and paste it, but it doesn't let me do it on my computer. I need the kids to teach me a technology class. Okay, kids are so good at that stuff. Hey, Amelia.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
What you making today?
The swans.
Let's see.
I didn't actually get to the swans because my background wasn't drying.
That's a pretty background. I like how you did the diagonal sky.
I didn't mean to. It just turned green.
It looks cool though. No one knows you didn't mean to except for you.
And I also have this with me. I have 3 things to show you. This is the second one.
Oh, that's cute. You did awesome. How did you get a lot of your pieces colored already?
No, this is all we have.
Oh, that's awesome. Take your time.
Yeah, we just started like yesterday or 2 days ago.
I like your shirt.
Thanks. And there's one last thing that technically contains 3 different things. Let me just get the last part of it in because I just finished it. All right, and here's the final thing.
Oh, she's so cute.
So that's supposed to be Elsa. There's her.
Oh, I love it. Elsa looks great.
What we have is Ariel.
Ah, Ariel. I love it. And you use pencil?
Yes.
Those are amazing. And what do you think about the book reading?
Yeah, it's cool.
You like it? Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing. Hey, Lola.
Oh, hi.
Hear you?
Can you hear me? Okay, so here's mine.
Oh, that looks so pretty.
I made the other one way too fat.
That's okay.
And I couldn't get the heart well.
That's okay. And so that's why I started with the heart. I started with the heart and then
I also started with the heart, but I didn't want to I didn't know how to make the neck so long.
And you know what else you could always do too is, again, you can make it into a collage and make the swan on tag board and glue it on top of it.
Yeah.
I like your pink shirt.
Thank you for the present.
You're welcome.
I painted, but I didn't paint all of the other things.
Take your time. It takes a long time to do.
I painted the heart.
Well, good. I'm glad you got it all the way across the country. Thanks, Lola.
Thank you for the art class.
You're welcome. Bye. Hi, Emma and Bella.
Oh, hi. So today Emma wasn't painting because
I sprained my wrist.
arm sprained.
Oh, how did you do that?
We actually
I know it wasn't from painting.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I was painting too hard. We don't know.
No, not really.
I think you did a cartwheel, didn't you?
I don't know. I was doing a lot of stuff in the past few days.
How'd you hurt it? Just doing stuff?
Yeah, I have no idea how it actually started hurting, but yeah.
Oh. Well, now you can learn how to create with your left hand.
I was trying. It's terrible.
And so this is mine.
Oh, cute.
This is the girl on the right. Her name is Serena, and this is the boy. His name is Sergei Rachmaninoff. the Russian composer.
That's cute. I like
I
it.
thought the name was elegant.
Yeah, and so I wasn't able to paint today, but I did make a robot.
Oh, that's cool. Oh.
Okay, let's demonstrate what it does. Okay, so there's paint in the way, but
Oh my God, get out of here. That's so cool and creepy at the same time.
So cool and creepy.
Cool and creepy.
And I actually have been into drawing hands for a while now. And this was my first one with a popsicle.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
And then here's my third one.
With a balloon. Oh.
Yes.
That, you know what? Hands are challenging, aren't they?
Yeah.
We
And
should
then
do a class just on hands.
Yes. And then I found this from actually a few years ago, I think.
Oh, that's so cute. Wow. That's amazing.
Very,
I love it.
what's the word I wanted?
And what do you guys think about the reading? Do you like the reading part?
I like it.
Awesome.
I like it a lot. And I think it's nice.
Yeah, we
All
read
right.
a lot, so we really love the book. Really
Oh, good. Okay. I never know. I'll have to be neater next time and not get paint on the library book.
Yeah.
Thanks, girls.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Denise.
Make a heart with me, though.
Oh,
Oh, that's cute. I love it. I love it.
the heart.
Bye, Denise.
Hi, girls.
Hi.
Look at your tie-dyed shirt. I love that.
So this is mine. I did it like under the moonlight.
Oh, that's so pretty. I love it under the stars.
I
Oh,
used paint sticks, but I made a mess, so we're gonna throw them away.
Apparently, they are very hard to wash off.
what is it? The paint sticks?
They are very hard to wash off, especially from the carpet.
Are they washable? Are those the solid ones?
They have acrylic paint sticks.
And they're hard to wash off? Okay. I just got acrylic paint on my carpet. I got to wash off, but it's liquid. So it get, your paintings don't look beautiful. Wow. That looks really pretty.
We actually did our entire pictures, except for I accidentally did this one with what's it called? Say, what are those things called again? I don't know. What I forgot its name, and the sketching. These, forget what they're called.
Oh, yeah, oil pastels. I love oil pastels.
I accidentally did my top with oil pastels, but other than that and the sketching, we did our entire pictures out of the metallic paint sticks.
They look really great. Now, go ahead.
Mine is pencil, and I used all paint sticks. I was trying it out with the stars. I'm like, oh, this is really cool.
Don't get oil pastels on your carpet. I love oil pastels, but when you press really hard and you get all those little crumbs, those don't come out of your carpet. And I used to, in school, I used to get it on the floor and the custodian would get so mad but you know, that's what happens with oil pastel. So when you do it, try to like do it on newspaper or something so that the crumbs, you could just roll it up and throw it away. But be careful of your carpet because it won't come out.
Mhm.
We have like this black carpet.
I'm in the process of washing it out.
Oh, okay, good. Well, thanks for sharing, you guys. Do you guys like the book? Do you like the book reading part?
Yes.
All right, I guess I'll keep reading. I'm glad. I just wasn't sure if you guys would like it or not. So,
Bye.
awesome. Thanks, girls.
Bye.
Hi, Abby and Claire.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. So this is mine.
Ooh, pretty.
I'm
That
not
looks
really
great.
done yet. So
Oh, that's pretty. You guys are doing awesome. What are you using?
and then I did this sketch yesterday.
Oh, that's nice.
And I just traced it with marker. I used color pencil and then I decided to use watercolor. Also, I did this on the back.
I love that you're
Yeah,
using both sides. Oh, I like that sun with the sunglasses too.
My mommy had that idea.
That's a great idea. You guys are doing awesome. I love it. I love the pretty skies you've made.
And
So
the birdie right here that's hatching out from its egg.
come closer so I can see it. Oh, that's so cute. That looks great. Thank you for sharing.
Bye.
Bye, you guys. Well, that's awesome. Oh, you guys did fantastic. Thank you so much for creating. So just to recap, today was Ugly Duckling, right? I also, Lola, I know you want me to read Swan Lake. So this one was longer, but maybe another day. And then I had another version of Ugly Duckling, which is, of course, a classic story. And you know what else I got? Lots of love books. So we're going to do, I love this one. So this book is based on the Beatles song, All You Need Is Love. I thought that was so cute. So I'm gonna read that one coming up. And then we're gonna be at the aquarium on Monday. So I have a visit to the aquarium. And then I have another love book. A kiss means I love you. So I'll keep doing with the books. And if you guys have any recommendations, feel free to message me. Let me know. And God bless you guys. Stay safe. Be healthy. Be kind. Right? Be kind. Don't be mean to people, just like in that Ugly Duckling. And keep going. Keep working on your swans. Make them beautiful. And if you don't like it, do it again and do it again. Make it into a card. Send it to somebody. Write a poem. Name your creations. Write a story. Just keep creating. Be inspired. And I will see you guys again soon. All right? Bye, you guys.